Thanks so much for joining me today for this full body workout. You'll need a mat and a couple sets of weights. Beginning with the warm-up, we are going to start with knee hugs, pulling that knee in towards the chest, give it a hug, release, and then pull the other knee up on the other side, warming up the lower body. Next up, we have upper body twists. Bring the elbows wide, rotate the upper body side to side, keeping those hips facing forward. Moving into body weight squats, standing hip distance apart. Push those hips back like you're about to sit in a chair, coming to a 90 degree from the floor, and then squeeze those glutes to come up to standing. And then moving right into jumping jacks. Warming up the entire body, warming up those muscles, getting ready for our strength training. All right, let's begin our first strength exercise, bicep curls. So grab a set of weights. You're going to begin with the palms facing outward, so a standard hold for bicep curls. Tuck those elbows in at your side and then lift those weights up towards the shoulders. Lift up for 2, lower down for 2. Here we go. Weights in your hands, we're going to be moving right into reverse lunges. Starting with your feet together, you're going to step it back on one side, bringing that knee about 1 to 2 inches from the floor, and then lunge it back on the other side. Here we go. We have rows up next, so if you need to switch weights, go ahead and do so now. Come to a standing with feet together. We're going to be hinging forward at the hips, bringing those weights down in front of us, palms facing inward. Keeping your elbows in close at your side, lift those weights up towards your chest, squeezing the shoulder blades and then lower back down. Lift and squeeze and lower back down. Here we go. Through the first set of exercises. Go ahead and set those weights down and take a quick breather here. Catch your breath, grab a sip of water, stretch it out if you need to. And let's begin our second set. Go ahead and grab those weights for bicep curls. Standard hold with our palms facing outward. Elbows in tight at our sides. We're gonna lift and lower. Let's go. Next up, we have those reverse lunges. So keeping those weights at your side, feet together, we're gonna step it back to a lunge, come center, step it back on the other side. All right, let's lunge it out. So if you need to switch weights, go ahead and do so now. Remember, we're hinging forward at the hips, squeezing those shoulder blades as we lift those weights up towards the chest, squeeze and lower, lift and lower. Let's go. Go ahead and set those weights down and take your breather here. Catch your breath, grab a sip of water, stretch it out if you need to. This is your recovery time. We have a new set of exercises up next. Starting with a clean to an overhead press, you'll need a medium set of weights. Standing hip distance apart, come into a half squat. Use momentum to swing those dumbbells up towards your shoulders and then press them straight up overhead. Lower down to shoulder height and then slowly uncurl. Squat, use momentum, your heels lifting off the mat, narrow overhead press, and then lower down and uncurl. All right, here we go. Next up, we have dumbbell swings. So go ahead and set those weights down. You're going to need one heavy weight. Holding it by the end, come into a wide stance, toes tracking outward. Hinge forward at the hips, lowering that weight down towards the mat, slight bend in the knees. Keeping the arms straight, you are activating the glutes, using momentum to bring that weight up to shoulder height, and then letting gravity bring it back down. Then move right into your next repetition. We have 20 to go. That weight. Our next exercise is a push-up pull-through. Go ahead and set that weight down, grab a medium to heavy weight, and then meet me down on the mat. Place that weight on one side of your mat, right below where you'll place your hand, and come into push-up position. This can be either on your toes or your knees. Lower down to push-up. Come all the way up and then reach opposite hand across the body to grab that weight and pull it over to the other side. Place the weight down on the mat, then push up. Reach with your other hand, pull that weight over and set it down, push up. All right, let's go. Go ahead and set that weight aside and take your break here. All right, time to do those exercises all over again. Starting with a clean and an overhead press, grab your set of weights. Stand hip distance apart. Half squat, use momentum. Press overhead, uncurl. Let's go. Next, we have those dumbbell swings, so go ahead and grab your one heavy weight. Holding it by the end, come into that wide stance. We're going to be hinging forward at the hips and using the power of those glutes to propel that weight up to shoulder height. 20 reps, let's go. Great, go ahead and set that weight down. Next up, we have those push-up pull-throughs. So go ahead and grab a medium weight. Meet me down on the mat. Remember, we're setting that weight just below where our hand will be for those push-ups. We're gonna be pushing it up, reaching across, grabbing that weight, setting it down on the other side, push up, reach across, and set it down. All right, let's go. You made it. Go ahead and set that weight down and take your breather. All right, let's begin our next set of exercises. First up, we have shoulder raises. So go ahead and grab a set of light to medium weights. Holding one weight at your side, palm facing inward, hold the other weight in front of the same side leg, palm facing inward, and then simultaneously raise both arms up to shoulder height. So one arm is coming out in front and one is raising out to the side. Staying on the same side, lift and lower. We've got 10 here, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, go ahead and rotate your shoulders so that now the opposite hand will be coming out to the side and the opposite one coming forward. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Let's go. And set those weights off to the side. Grab a heavier set of weights for bridges. We're going to be coming down to the mat, bringing those weights with us. Come all the way down onto your back, feet flat on the floor. Place those weights on your hip bones. We're going to be activating the glutes by squeezing and lifting those hips up towards the ceiling, and then slowly lowering back down. squeeze and bring your body to a straight line. Resist gravity on the way down. All right, let's go. Go ahead and set those weights aside. You'll need a set of light to medium weights for this next exercise. We have a narrow chest press to a skull crusher. Bring those weights back down to the mat with you. Knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. Weights are at your sides, palms facing inward. And then press straight up above your chest, locking those elbows in place. Lower the weights back at a 90 degree and then extend straight. Lower the weights all the way back down. Press up, extend back, straighten the arms, and then lower down. 10 sets. Let's go. And sit up, set those weights aside, and take your breather here. This is your recovery time. Hydrate and get ready for our next set. Let's start with those shoulder raises. Grab your light to medium weights. Remember, we have a staggered hold here, so one arm is going to be coming out to the side, one is going to be coming straight in front. Let's lift and lower. Staying on that same side. Let's go. Last one on this side, and then we're going to rotate our shoulders to the other side. Lift and lower. Let's go. weights down. We have glute bridges up next. Grab your heavy weights and come on down to the mat. Place those weights on your hip bones, and we're pressing up, bringing our body to a straight line and lowering down. Let's go. We have that narrow chest press to a skull crusher. So switch out your weights for a lighter set. Come back down onto your mat. Remember to tuck those elbows in at your sides. We're pressing up. Locking those elbows in place, extending back. Straightening those arms and then lowering down. Let's go. Up and set those weights aside. This is your break. You've made it. We only have 2 exercises left for our abdominals, and then we're going to cool it down. Go ahead and come all the way down to your mat. We have some toe reaches first. So go ahead and lift those legs directly up above the hips. Hands come behind the head, elbows wide. Crunch up, lifting your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat while reaching your opposite hand towards your opposite foot. Lower down, and then crunch up and reach up on the other side, opposite hand to opposite foot. Alternating side to side for a total of 20. Here we go. And then go ahead and drop those feet down to the mat. Extend them long. We have a set of double leg lifts. For extra stability, you can make a diamond shape with your hands and place them on the mat just below your tailbone. Pull your belly button in towards the mat, stabilizing your core. Lift both legs straight up directly above the hips, and then slowly lower back down to a hovering above the mat. Only go as far down as is comfortable for you and where you can still keep your lower back glued to the mat. Don't let your back arch up. Okay, let's go strong until the end. Drop those legs down. Relax. We made it. We're just going to cool it down now with some stretches. So go ahead and roll yourself up. Come up to standing. All right, let's begin by stepping one foot behind the other. And then reaching that same side arm up overhead. Looking out past the fingertips, deep breaths here. Stretching all through the side of the body. And then drop that hand down, unwind. Let's step it back on the other side. Reach that hand up over the head. Look out past those fingertips. Breathe. Deep breaths here. And then drop that hand by your side, unwind those legs, pull that heel in towards the glute, pressing that foot into your hand. You get a little deeper stretch through the front of the quad here. Hold onto a chair or a countertop for stability if you need. All right, release that leg, bring the other heel in towards the glute, stretch it out on the other leg. All right, go ahead and release that foot. Turn your body sideways on the mat. Step one foot forward, flex the foot, and I want you to reach towards that foot and then outstretch the hands up towards the ceiling. Reach, getting a stretch all through the back of the leg, and then reach towards the ceiling. It's a dynamic stretch. Scoop towards those toes and reach up overhead. Last one here. And then we're going to bring it to the other side. So step that other leg forward, foot is flexed, scoop and reach towards those toes. And then outstretch the hands towards the ceiling. It's one fluid movement. Great job. Go ahead and take a deep breath here, reaching those hands towards the ceiling. Let them float down. One more deep breath. Bring the hands together, float them down to heart center. You did a great job today. Thanks for joining me.